Going live. You're live.
All
Here
right.
we go.
Hi, welcome to the Zombies. I'm Amy, also known as J Nitma.
And I'm Megan, also known as Just Run It. And this is episode 279. How's it
Awesome.
going?
Good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we don't want to rub it into anybody that's in California or Arizona space, but we are having unseasonably cool weather. Amy, you're sitting outside.
It's too gorgeous not to.
Yep, yep. Yeah, we went for a brief walk. It's kind of like our coffee break walk. And it was like, oh, everybody was just kind of walking around in this blissful state.
Yeah, I did go for coffee walk as well, and then it's been beautiful. But I
Mm-hmm.
apologize for any air conditioner noise because it's inevitable outside these
Yep,
days.
yep. So, yeah, this week we are talking about our works in progress.
Yes.
And so, with the help of some master enablers and our KALs for ZKN, I've got more on the needles than I ever have, to the point where I'm like, who am I? And what have you done with my Meg? I'm enjoying it, which is again something that I can't say that I've ever been like, oh, I've got two sweaters on the needles. I don't know the last time that has happened that it wasn't a design. So,
yeah, crazy.
yes. We've got Courtney, Randy, Cheryl, and Laura and Mimi saying hello out on the live, and Heather and Guinevere. Sorry, not Guinevere. Um, Thank you all for joining us. It's fabulous to feel like and motivating. I don't know about you, Amy, but I'm like,
Right.
we can't put this off. We
Oh
told
yeah,
we're gonna do it.
announced.
Yes, we announced the time. People are sitting next to their computers.
Yeah.
So that's exciting. I want to thank everybody that is able to join us and waving hello. So hello. Do you want to jump in? I mean, I can't not comment on your finished object that you're wearing. I know that that's not this week, but that is beautiful. Summer Shandy.
I made sure to put some knitwear on this time. And it is cooler outside, so it's possible.
It looks beautiful. I love those colors.
Thank you. Again, the blue is Sun Valley Fibers from our Rainbow Kits color. And then this is a Razzle Dazzle kit from Leading Men Fiber Arts, which are all kind of different. So yeah. I got Razzle Dazzle number 38 or something, right? So I don't know if it's reproducible. And then WIPs. Okay.
Yes.
So I went through and I got a bunch of my WIPs that are going to be my next 3 for my whip down.
Woo-hoo.
And then I have our KALs as my WIPs. So I'm going to wait to talk about the gnome when Megan talks about the gnome so that we can spoiler alert it. But
we will try not to use words. We will try to just hold up, and then we will say verbally that you can now look back because the gnomes have gone back into hiding. So.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But this is my everlasting sock, and I'm holding up my mistake side. See. But that's the only part, and
keeping it real.
Yeah, I didn't really feel like ripping that back for that because if you look on the other side, it's supposed to look kind of like that.
Yep. And yours looks so. I mean, mine are finished objects, so I wasn't planning on talking about them. But yours looks just so much different. I think it's just that contrast of the white.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really, really love that. It's beautiful, Amy.
Yeah, and then I guess the whip portion of it is I'm still knitting inside out.
Okay. And that's helping you with your tension? Helping.
I really think that the best benefit that I've learned is that with your knitting with Magic Loop, it helps with that side tensioning so that you don't get a really tight pinch on the sides. I've noticed that on some mittens that I've made where there's a tight pinch on the sides when I change from front to back.
So it doesn't change like your stranding tension
I
very
don't
much.
think
it's just those edge pieces.
Yeah. So for me, it's been really great for taking out that pinch on the sides. And if you've ever had it happen, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Oh, 100%. Like I have it happen on sweaters when I'm, it's not big enough to have the full circumference yet. And yep.
So now knit it inside out, get rid of it.
Yep.
And then the queued up whips are, I think this is called the Tuffle. So it's going to be a cowl, and it's out of Mitchell's Creations.
That's right. The mohair, and then like a really pretty variegated. Yeah.
I think the variegated is Wildflowers.
Yeah.
Very pretty.
You have such a skill at that. Like, I feel like I pick colors online and they come and I'm like, oh, maybe I'll use them with something else. But you like sight unseen picked those two. Well, other than the website, picked those two together. Yeah.
And then, it's a chevron, but just one. And then it gets edged on the sides when it's in the round. So I'm excited about it. I have to.
Oh, you seam it after it's.
Yep. Yeah, so you seam it so it's like this. So I'm knitting a long panel and I'm going to join it, and then you edge them in a different color.
Got it. After you seam it. Yes. I was like, edged. Is that seaming or what is that? But no. Okay. Yep.
Yeah. If I had a finished object picture, but then my other really long running whip is this.
I remember that.
So I am picking this up again. I have 32 rows before I can turn it into a cowl. So I'm just going to turn it into a cowl.
Cool. It was meant to be a long hanging scarf.
Right. But I don't have enough yarn, I don't think, to make a good size scarf. That's tension problems. I think it's not supposed to be as wide. And so my gauge is at such a loose gauge, beautiful scarf, but I wouldn't have enough yarn to keep going.
Yeah. That's unlike you. You generally have, you're generally a little tighter, right? But this is new technique. Yeah.
Yeah. Double knitting is apparently where I loosen up. And then, so really pretty. There's one more full butterfly that's going to be in those 30 rows. So that'll be fun.
Beautiful.
Okay. And then last, and didn't bring it out, is a baby hat.
Got it.
So not too much going on there. It's just a quick knit, but I started it a while ago and haven't picked it up again. So
yeah. So I finished. I've had more on the needles than what I'm going to show you, but I've finished at least one of our KALs. So that's crazy. But somebody commented in the comments that we're wearing sweaters, so it's sweater weather here. And I was like, yes, I am feeling that sweater weather urge. So I went and signed up for the Hohi fall KAL portion, her KAL portion. You can sign up. You sign up before the 30th, and I put that out in our Discord link and added everyone, which it warned me. It was like, you are messaging everyone, and I'm like, okay, I think that's what I want to do. When email was brand new in my school, I sent an email to the whole school because it was so exciting. And I got told by the media person that was not appropriate. So ever since that time, I've tried not to at everyone. But sweater weather is definitely here for me. Signed up for 2 sweaters with the Hohi KAL. And this is my official Rhinebeck sweater. It is the Autumn Court by Dragon Horde Yarn. I'm trying to, it's Tristan. I can't remember her last name off the top of my head. But I really enjoyed, and I don't know if you're going to be able to see it. There you can. That gray is fuzzy. So it's color work, but with like a, I believe this is, it's not mohair, it's alpaca silk, I believe, alpaca silk. And my gauge is a little different. So I've had to do some interesting things. My row gauge is really off. And then my stitch gauge, I'm just getting a bigger sweater and I'm knitting the smaller size. So I had some interesting problems down at the bottom that I've regaled a few people with. It got really long because my row gauge is off. And so I remember that. Yeah. Things really long. Yes. And then the bottom has some, extensive 3-color work, and it was gathering a lot, and I hadn't gone up a needle size. And so it was like tunic length sucked in at the bottom, ended up having to rip it out. I was just going to have it do, and again, by no fault of the pattern, it was all me, right? Like I should have tried it on. There was a lot of my own faults. And then I was just going to put ribbing at the bottom. And then it was too short. It was the color work that was holding it down at the bottom, believe it or not. And so I was like walking around with a crop top on, and my husband's like, "You will never wear that." And I'm like, "I know, I will never wear it." So then I ripped the ribbing out, and then I decided I was going to put the color work back on, and I'm glad I did. I think it's really pretty. But I finished a sleeve, which I learned my lesson. I definitely tried this on before doing it, and then now I am just on the ribbing. I was just
there
like,
you go.
yeah, a few rows away from the ribbing. With this being just a block away, but I'm absolutely loving the colors. I bought these colors last year at Rhinebeck. And it's a very Rhinebecky sweater to me. And I'm glad that I'm continuing the tradition, even though nobody will be going to Rhinebeck this year. And so this is, yeah, Dirty Water Dye Works is all of the colors except the alpaca silk, which I got to hold double with things, and it's a more substantial yarn, and so it kind of takes over whatever you're holding double with it. And this was the perfect use for it, right? So it's not see-through in those areas. It's just fuzzy. Yeah.
Fun.
And then I'm test knitting for Jessie, Knitty Joe, the top that I showed briefly last week. I already showed off the front, so I'm not going to ooh and ah over it, but I finished the back, and I just need to seam up the sides, and then there is neckline ribbing and sleeve ribbing, a short little sleeve section. It was interesting. I've been doing so much knitting in the round and alternating colors that this was knit flat, obviously, and then seamed, that I was getting some major striping by just doing a row across and a row back in the same color and then swapping. So I ended up doing a right side row followed by another right side row with the other strand, and then doing a wrong side row followed by another wrong side row with the other color, just to help it blend better.
Yeah.
It's just they were significantly different.
Right.
And so I didn't want to have like this side of the tape be a darker color than this side, or have the back be a significantly different color than the front. I wasn't going for color blocking. So that's a tip and trick, I guess. I could have saved that for a tip and trick, but I thought of it. All right. Spoiler alert, I am up to clue 9. So if the people in my early meeting this morning would have known that I was knitting a gnome, they would have thought it was super funny. But the clue came out and I knit it as I was in my meeting. So yep, we've got.
I'm only through clue 8, personally.
Through clue 8. So we will do hand waving, or I guess you want to look away. We will say verbally when we are done showing off our gnomes for the Mystery KAL for Miss Nikki.
Yep. And I ended up tying on my pieces so they can at least look like
the pattern has not as yet told you to attach some of these pieces that you will see tied on by both of us, but we have not. We're following the direction.
Right. We have not attached these preemptively or whatever.
All right. Are you ready?
Yep. Ready. Here we go. Ooh, cute.
Yes. So yeah, they're just dangling appendages right now.
Well, mine haven't even gotten their tassels woven in.
Oh yes. But yeah, you can kind of see mine are tied on in the back there. But super loving the marling.
Fun.
Yeah. So that's been a work in progress that I couldn't possibly just finish up. And we had a tips and tricks Zoom this weekend, and somebody mentioned rather than using like pellets or beads or seeds, or beans, that you could go out and grab a heavy object and embed it inside of your gnome. And so I went out and grabbed some of my rock out of my my bed of, you know, it's not a flower bed. There's like plant, I guess, a plant bed, landscaping.
I used a washer.
Yeah.
Somebody mentioned larger washers, so I used,
Yeah.
you know, basically this size washer.
Yep. My rock is probably bigger than was warranted, but I think I kind of tend to overstuff my guys. So I needed something substantial to sit on the bottom. And we are no longer showing the gnomes for anybody that was
gone away. Yeah.
The gnomes are hidden. I will keep myself from grabbing it. But I thought that was a good tip and trick because everybody can go outside and grab a rock. It kind of led to some fun discussion about like treasure. Being able to hide something, treasure inside of it. Not that you would ever want somebody to rip your gnome apart, but kind of like the concept behind the Build-A-Bear where you put like sparkles and joy and whatever inside of them. If I hadn't been trying to close up my gnome, maybe I could have painted my rock and written something on it or whatever, right?
Yep.
So, yeah, yep.
Another week of whips.
Yep. All kinds of funness. And I've got a lot that I've got queued up and ready to go. Like yarn actually even caked up. So the Megan cast on Palooza multiple projects at one time continue.
Wow. Yeah, I only have one of my Hohi pattern yarns picked out, but the other one's just a single skein. So hopefully that'll just be a quick stash dive. And yeah, so I can
Somebody
do that.
was commenting, it's not clue 9, it's clue 8. I'm sorry.
Oh, well,
been through clue
whichever
8.
clue was today, I did not do.
Today was clue 8. I was already moving on to clue 9, but we have not gotten that yet. So thank you, Pat, for correcting me. So
okay. Yeah, I whatever clue has the appendages. So
yeah, it was fun that the earlier ones were multi-day, and now they're just kind of coming a little more frequently. But I'm super excited. We're going to talk to Sarah tomorrow.
Wow.
In our weekly Zoom. Yeah. And then we're going to have a Zoom gnome parade at the following Saturday. So that's exciting. I'm really enjoying the gnomes. This is my first gnome. So
awesome. Yeah. I think it's I've knit a lot, but it's the third pattern. So like there's one pattern I've knit multiples of, but this is the third gnome pattern that I've knit.
Got it. Well, I thank you all for joining us. We've had a couple more people jump in and say hello, Karen and Laura and Nitty Girl. Thank you all for joining us live, and for everybody that's we're totally watchable, not live, I think. Hopefully. And don't forget to come join us out on Discord. There's always a lot going on. I'm really continuing to enjoy it, and see you next week.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye, Ufta.